Can I ask you something? When was the last time you genuinely surprised yourself? Not other people. Yourself. Because I think a lot of us have become way too comfortable saying things like, I'll start next Monday. I'll do it after summer. January will be my fresh start. Meanwhile, January is looking at us like, girl, we've been doing this for 3 years. Here's the truth. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need another aesthetic planner. And you definitely don't need to announce your new era every 3 months. What you need is silence. Imagine disappearing for 6 months. Not because you're depressed. Not because you're running away. But because you're finally choosing yourself over everyone's opinions. Imagine seeing someone in January. And instead of saying, I wish I looked like that, they say, wait, what happened to you? Not because you got lucky. Because while everyone else was talking, you were building. So, if I had exactly 6 months to completely reset my life, here's exactly what I'd do. 1. Stop announcing every goal. Can we please normalize shutting up? Seriously. Why does your cousin know you're starting the gym? Why does Instagram know you're entering your villain era? Why does your dog know you're quitting sugar? Everyone knows. Except your habits. There's actually something interesting about this. When you tell people your goals, your brain gets a tiny reward. It feels like you've already accomplished something. Except, you haven't. It's like getting a trophy before the race even starts. So this time, move differently. Let people think you're doing nothing. Meanwhile, become someone they won't recognize. 2. Stop waiting to feel motivated. This one changed my life. We think successful people wake up excited every morning. They don't. They wake up. They don't feel like doing the work. And then, they do it anyway. Motivation is honestly one of the most unreliable people you'll ever meet. She shows up late, leaves early, and ghosts you when things get difficult. Discipline? Discipline actually keeps her promises. So stop asking yourself, do I feel like it? Instead ask, would future me thank me for doing this? Because future you has been carrying current you for long enough. Give her a break. 3. Protect your attention like it's money. Because honestly, it kind of is. Every notification, every reel, every random argument in the comments, they're all taking tiny pieces of your attention. And attention is something you never get back. Think about it. You open TikTok to watch one video. Suddenly someone is explaining why pigeons are government drones. 45 minutes are gone. And somehow, you're emotionally invested. Protect your attention. Because wherever your attention goes, your life usually follows. 4. Become slightly harder to reach. This doesn't mean ignore everyone. Please don't disappear and make your mom think you've joined a secret organization. I mean, stop feeling like you have to reply instantly. Stop feeling guilty for taking time to yourself. Not every message needs an immediate response. You're allowed to have quiet mornings. You're allowed to spend an afternoon without your phone. You're allowed to exist without constantly proving you're available. The people who genuinely care about you will understand. 5. Make boring your new superpower. Nobody talks about this. Success is honestly kind of boring. It's repeating the same habits over and over and over again. Reading, working out, studying, saving money, sleeping on time. It's not glamorous. It won't go viral. But it works. People love watching transformation videos. They rarely want to watch the hundreds of ordinary days that created the transformation. Learn to love those ordinary days. Because that's where your new life is hiding. Before we continue, here's the funny part. By now, some people have probably clicked off this video because they were looking for a magic trick, a secret habit, a shortcut. But if you're still here, you're exactly the kind of person who can actually change in 6 months. Because you're willing to hear the truth. And trust me, we're just getting started. 6. Stop chasing goals. Change your identity. Can I tell you one of the biggest mistakes people make? They focus way too much on the goal, and almost never on the person they need to become. Think about it. You don't become confident because you reached your goal. You reach your goal because you slowly became someone who keeps promises to herself. Read that again. If you keep saying, I want clear skin. But you never become the kind of person who washes her makeup off every night. Nothing changes. If you say, I want to get fit, but you keep negotiating with your alarm every morning, nothing changes. Instead of asking, what do I want? Start asking, who do I need to become? Because once your identity changes, your habits start following naturally. 7. Learn to be alone without feeling lonely. This one is uncomfortable. And that's exactly why most people avoid it. Some of us are constantly surrounded by noise. Music, podcasts, reels, group chats, background TV. Because silence feels weird. But here's the thing. If you can't enjoy your own company, no amount of company from other people is going to fix that. Take yourself out for coffee. Go for a walk. Eat lunch alone. Not because you have no one else. Because you're learning that your own company is enough. Honestly, being comfortable alone is kind of a superpower. You stop making decisions just because you're afraid of missing out. And start making decisions because they actually make you happy. 8. Your environment is quietly shaping you. Here's a question. When you walk into your room, does it make you feel calm? Or does it immediately remind you of everything you've been avoiding? Your environment affects you more than you realize. A messy desk makes starting work feel harder. A phone sitting next to your bed makes sleeping harder. A kitchen full of junk food makes eating healthier harder. Will cleaning your room magically fix your life? No, but it removes one excuse. And sometimes, that's all you need. Future you shouldn't have to clean up after present you every single day. That's just rude. 9. Stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Let's be honest. Social media is weird. You'll see someone posting, morning run sun. Meanwhile, they forgot to mention they argued with their sibling, missed the bus, spilled coffee on themselves, and cried over an email. People post the highlights, not the whole movie. So why are you comparing your entire life to someone's best 15 seconds? Imagine if movies only showed the ending. You'd think success happened overnight. It didn't. And neither will yours. Give yourself permission to grow slowly. Nobody blooms in a rush. 10. Become the person who finishes things. This one hurt me. Maybe it'll hurt you too. How many things have you started that are still sitting there unfinished? The online course, the book, the business idea, the workout challenge, the language app. At this point, Duolingo's owl has probably filed a missing person report. Here's what successful people do differently. They finish. Even when it's boring. Even when they're tired. Even when nobody is clapping. Because finishing builds something far more valuable than motivation. It builds trust. Every time you finish something, you quietly prove to yourself, I can rely on me. And honestly, that's one of the greatest feelings in the world. By now, you might be realizing something. None of these habits are revolutionary. They're actually pretty ordinary. And that's exactly the point. Transformation isn't hiding inside one giant decision. It's hiding inside 100 tiny ones. The kind nobody posts. The kind nobody applauds. The kind that quietly change your life while everyone else is waiting for motivation. And that's exactly what we're talking about next. How to become so consistent that your future self starts feeling like a completely different person. 11. Fall in love with being consistent, not perfect. Can I tell you something that took me way too long to understand? You're probably not failing because you're lazy. You're failing because you keep trying to be perfect. Think about it. You miss one workout, and suddenly you're like, well, I guess I'll start again next Monday. You eat one cookie. Diet's ruined. You miss one day of studying. I'll restart next month. It's so dramatic. Imagine brushing your teeth once, then saying, well, I missed yesterday. Guess I'll never brush them again. Sounds ridiculous, right? But that's exactly how we treat our goals. Stop trying to have perfect weeks. Have consistent ones. Because people who change their lives aren't perfect. They're just really good at starting again. 12. Build self-respect in private. Everyone talks about confidence. Not enough people talk about self-respect. Confidence is believing you can do something. Self-respect is proving it to yourself. It's waking up when your alarm goes off. Keeping promises you made to yourself. Cleaning your room because you deserve a peaceful space. Going to bed on time because tomorrow matters. Nobody claps for those moments. Nobody even sees them. But you do. And every time you choose yourself, you quietly become someone you can trust. Honestly, that's worth more than any compliment. 13. Stop looking for the glow-up. This might surprise you, but I don't think the biggest transformation you'll have over the next 6 months will be your appearance. It'll be your standards. The things you used to tolerate, you won't anymore. The people who constantly drained your energy won't have as much access to you. The habits that once felt impossible will start feeling normal. One day you'll realize you don't need to force yourself to drink water anymore. You just do. You don't argue with yourself about going for a walk. You just go. That's when you know you've changed. Not because your life became perfect, but because healthy choices became part of who you are. So, disappear in July. Not to punish yourself. Not because you hate your life. Not because you're trying to prove people wrong. Disappear because you're finally giving yourself the time, the attention, and the patience you've been giving everyone else. 6 months from now, don't aim to be unrecognizable. Aim to be recognizable. To yourself. To become the version of you that you've been promising you'd become for years. The one who finishes what she starts. The one who keeps her promises. The one who doesn't need motivation to show up. Because here's the truth. January isn't going to magically change your life. Neither is July. Neither is Monday. You will. One ordinary day. One boring habit. One small decision at a time. So close this video. Pick one thing. Just one. And start today. Because the life you're dreaming about isn't waiting for a perfect version of you. It's waiting for the version that's willing to begin. Take care of yourself. Because you deserve it.